Hey everyone, welcome back to the Bravely Default Nemesis fights. Today, we're fighting Beelzebub, who's actually one of the easiest Nemesis you can fight because you can get a level 10 encounter with him, which I believe is a specific send from Square Enix, but don't take my word on that, I might be wrong on that, but a lot of people seem to fight at level 10, but we're not fighting post level 10 version, we're fighting a level 9 version. In terms of the setup we're going with, Tiz is a salve maker with ninjutsu, mainly so as Utusemi. Stop immunity, confuse immunity, item critical, transients, and a default card. In fact, actually, let's get rid of item critical and give him attack item, and that's going to be way more helpful. As in, it's going to be helpful at all. Anyas is a spirit master with white mage, confuse immunity, stop immunity, holy one, steady and pure recover. Ringbell, dark knight, martial arts, maximize HP, stop immunity, confuse immunity. Adia, sword master, piracy, confuse immunity, stop immunity, BP limit up, default guard, physical attack up. Pretty basic setup in terms of our abilities and jobs. Equipment, everyone has an ice flame shield and a courage ring. As well as Adia and Tiz have brave suits. Tiz so we can get giant stress out faster. Adia so she has 1+ BP to so she can attack faster with amp strikes. So all of our specials are lightning as well because it is weak to lightning. And if we go over here, yep, Beelzebub level 99. So there's a level 10 encounter, a level 99 encounter, and I believe a plus version as well as at least so it makes sense. Anyway, let's get the fight started. So, well, this can be encountered really early on. This fight's actually pretty tricky if you don't know what you're doing. So, we're going to start off, of course, with getting our giant stuffs out on everyone. We actually are going to want these really badly. Let's see, beast liver. Okay, there we go. I have more items here than I really wish I would. It makes it longer, or makes it take longer to get to the things I need. You can just start using minus strikes. You should be good to go on those. So, in terms of the abilities Beelzebub has, it has Fire Aja there, which doesn't really matter to us because we have Ice Flame Shields anyway. It also has Demon Eye, which inflicts Confuse, Stop, and Dread. Now you know why we have all those resistances. And it also has... who else needs it? I think just Adia. It has Tentacles, physical damage to one party member. Not too big of a deal, but that's why we're getting Tiz with 7, just so he can counter if he gets attacked. Octa Whip, which is basically the same thing as Tentacles, where it hits the whole party. And finally... Gluttony. Gluttony allows it to heal any and all damage that is done to it. Alright, you just go and get your semi out. That's obviously pretty annoying, because no matter if it's magic, even Giant or Dragon Fangs rather, or Dragon's Breath at that point, no matter what it is, if it's damage, it's going to heal it. Obviously don't want to deal with that. At the end of Gluttony, when it's done using that, which is I believe after 3 or 4 turns, it will use Acid Breath, which hits the entire party and lowers their physical and magic defense. Pretty wicked move. So, interesting thing about Gluttony that I'm not really going to be making use of, but is interesting regardless. Let's see. There we go. If you deal, I believe, 100,000 damage to it, and I believe it is less on the lower level version, but with this version it's 100,000. If you do 100,000 damage to it, it will have an ability called Overflow. Basically, this means it will deal damage to itself, which is more damage than you would have dealt, or than it would have healed from Gluttony. In theory, that is the best way to deal with it, but I've never been able to deal 100,000 damage in 4 turns to deal with it. So maybe if you use Bravely Second, it's a lot easier, but I'm trying not to use Bravely Second because it's not really available for everyone. Because it's, I mean, if you don't have it, you either have to wait for a while or pay for it, and I don't want to make a strategy that's reliant on that, basically. So I don't like doing that. Basically, when he uses Gluttony, I just tend to default because, I mean, there's not much else I can do if I'm not gonna try and inflict Overflow or trigger Overflow rather. So. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of an annoying move, but not too big of a deal. Acid Breath can be a bit dangerous if you're not prepared for it, but not too bad, really. I really hope he's probably going to use it too. I think he uses it... He doesn't really have, like, a damage threshold he uses it at. He just kind of uses it, I think, on a schedule. But I think it's always at the end of a turn. He's pretty slow, as you might expect from a giant tentacle beast like this guy. Like, does he look like a fast guy? Probably not. Also, probably should have healed Ringbell. But honestly, it's probably going to be fine. It's also why we have default guard on a lot of people. Because, you know, I didn't think about that. That transients actually would have been not so helpful in this instance. I mainly was thinking about it for Octo Whip, but... Ring a bell! You survived. That's amazing. Good. I didn't actually expect you to survive that at that point, but you did. So good job, man. Let's send healing out because we probably need that. You are probably way faster than Anius, right? Not way faster. Only 3 ticks. I don't know. Just go for it. I mean, should I use a Phoenix Flight just in case? No, just go for the Mind Strikes. If we get healed, it's whatever. We'll deal with it. Oh, but at that point, you shouldn't be braving a bunch. Yeah, just use 1 Mind Strike. I mean, we can brave later. It's not really a big deal. Yeah, okay. Well, at least we didn't waste anything, really. Also, you did get healed all the way, so now I'm going to do a new 1. Or 68. That's better than 1, I guess. Not a lot better, but it's still better. So yeah, this fight's really not that bad once you know what you're doing. You can choose to either abuse Gluttony and try to trigger Overflow or not. Again, since it does accumulate, I believe, over multiple like Gluttonies. It's not like you don't have to do 100,000 in 1 Gluttony. Wow, you're doing it again? Really? Fuck. In 1, I believe, like if we had dealt, I don't know, 50,000 in the last Gluttony and then dealt another 50,000 here, it still would trigger. Again, don't quote me on that, because I'm not positive that's the case. But I think it is. I think. Let's see. You have your special. You should do... It's not really helpful, but it might deal good damage, so I don't know. Let's go and do that. Dragon's Breath also would deal good damage anyway, but whatever. You might just use Gluttony again, so I'm just going to use Ring About Special. And, of course, Free Lunch. So I think I've gone pretty much over everything I need to for this fight. Some of the Nemesis, I guess I should mention, do have slightly different backgrounds. Some of them have like a red sun in the background. Some of them have, I think, darker backgrounds. Obviously the balls have very unique backgrounds because they're balls, but like this one doesn't have the sun in the background, I don't believe, but it does have this red sky. They'll have a similar aesthetic, but slightly different backgrounds, ever so slightly. Just nice. Makes them even more unique than they already are, really. Well, I guess, granted, they are taken from another game, so not all that unique. And even then, they're taken from another game, which were already taken from several other Final Fantasy games, because Final Fantasy tends to reuse bosses, either making them, like, normal enemies, or making them just bosses again. I don't know. Like, if you try to look up, like, a Bravely Default, enemy, you'll see, like, it could refer to the Bravely Default enemy, or this enemy from Final Fantasy 3, or 4, or 6. You'll see a million instances of the one enemy, and it's, I'm not gonna say annoying, but, oh, countered, that, Rejuvenation, that's great. I really wish you would not use Gluttony every other turn. It's getting rather obnoxious. It's probably gonna use Acid Breath this turn, so I healed. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, it uses it for like 3 or 4 turns, and then he ditches that strategy. Let's keep this going. Just in case Anius doesn't go in time. Try and get these Dragon Breaths out. Use Rejuvenation. You Phoenix Flight minus strikes. Because at this point, I'm pretty sure you're going after... Well, you might not go after Anius, you might go before. But even then, you'll still do good damage with Phoenix Flight, and then, of course, minus strike is going to be very helpful. So, might as well. Kind of a cover-all strategy there. And, yeah. I don't really have much else to say about this fight, other than Sinus Creepy. I don't like that it's got, like, a tentacle... I was gonna say a tentacle coming out of its mouth, but then I looked at its design for like a second. Also, we didn't keep the special going. It's not that big of a deal. We got the same boost from Tiz here anyway with hit count, so it doesn't really matter. Hit counts don't really even help for us, so I don't really care. What was I saying? Its design is creepy. I don't like that it's got tentacles, I guess. I was gonna say, oh, it's dead. Well, now we can't comment on its design because it's just a corpse. Oh well, dexterity bun though. That's cool. So yeah, that's Beelzebub. Interesting fight, if not a particularly difficult one. It doesn't have a ton of HP to account for the fact you might constantly be healing it. But, of course, you can trigger Overflow. I don't think it kills it instantly, I'm pretty sure. I think it shouldn't. But it does deal a ton of damage. More than 100,000, so, yeah. But again, I've never actually triggered Gluttony, or Overflow, rather. So I don't actually know how much it does. But apparently it's supposed to do more than it would heal. Which is probably then more than... Well, it wouldn't deal more than... Yeah, no, it would deal more than 100,000. What am I thinking? Anyway, that's Beelzebub. It's cool, I guess. I don't have much more to say about it. So, with that, I guess I'll see you guys for more Nemesis fights. But hey, if you enjoyed this video, maybe check out some of the other series I've done. You can also consider subscribing, checking out my Patreon page, or joining my Discord server. There are links in the description to those, as well as other social media links like Twitter and Facebook. Thanks for watching.